Eloise here for Craftie Cafe, and today I have another Father's Day card for you all. So today I'm going to be using the Epic Dad stamp set, which I realised that I've spelt wrong on my stamp pocket, but just ignore that. And I'm going to be using just this stamp set today to create this card. So I'm also pulling out a stitched frame die just from my stash, and I'm going to stamp out all of these, this little like swipe image with some lawn fawn inks. So I'm using the pumpkin spice, fake tan, sunflower, freshly cut grass, and the peacock for the background, and then I'm going to use the mermaid later on, and I'm not going to use the Sally stick, and I'm also going to pull in a couple other colours as well. So I'm first starting off with the sunflower and stamping this at the top of the page, and I ran over this stamp with an eraser first, just lightly, so the ink would adhere to it a bit better. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the fake tan and stamp this just down below, sort of at more of an angle so it doesn't look too uniform. Then I'm using the pumpkin spice and I'm stamping that underneath, and these lawn fawn inks stamp so well. They are honestly like one of my top favourite inks of all time. They are absolutely incredible. Next up, I'm using freshly cut grass. And then finally I'm using the peacock just at the very bottom. So now that my background has been all stamped, I'm going to stamp out part of my sentiment. So I'm using the Minty Fresh ink and I'm stamping down the dad sentiment just onto this white piece of cardstock. And then because I wanted it to sort of have a gradient effect, I inked it up back again with mermaid ink, and then just wiped off the top a little bit, just dabbing it with a cloth, and then I just put my head right over the top of the panel and stamped back down to line it up properly, and that will work really well. So now I'm going to go ahead and die cut it out. So I've just taken a piece of scrap cardstock and ran that through just by itself with the dad die, and then I'm lining back up the negative space of that die, lining it up over the stamped dad word, and then pressing in my die into place, and that will get a perfect die cut. Since it is a solid die, you can't see through it, so this is a little trick that I like to use. Now I've just added foam tape onto the back of this dad word, and I'm just going to stick this down onto my card in that little gap so the holes in the letters show through white and not a colour. And now I'm going to go ahead and use some hippo ink from Lawn Fawn and blend it onto a little bit of grey cardstock, just again to give it a little bit of a gradient effect, since I didn't want it to be a plain, colour, since sort of everything else has sort of like a gradient to it as well. So I'm just blending this from the bottom of this little strip, and then I'm going to stamp World's Greatest in some black licorice ink, also from Lawn Fawn, and adhere that onto my card under the dad word. Now I'm just taking some clear enamel dots. I just have some from Your Next Stamp, but any will do, or even sequins you could use, but I wanted to use these dots since it is a Father's Day card. I wanted it to feel a little bit more masculine, so that's why I decided to go for that. And so that basically finishes up my card. I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this panel onto a piece of craft cardstock and then onto a white card base. So thanks so much for stopping by today. A very quick and easy design for a Father's Day card. The colours, sort of aren't too feminine, so it works really well for a masculine card as well. And so yeah, anyway, all of the supplies will be linked down below and at the blog, and I will catch you all next time. Thanks so much for watching.